Greetings, loved ones. Today we're going to talk about beyond abuse. Would you recognize abuse even if it didn't leave a mark? Help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button, the notification bell, and share these messages with others because you never know, just by doing so, you could save a life. When people think of domestic violence, they often picture a woman with black eyes, bruises on their arms, or with unexplained bandages or casts. But the sad truth is that domestic violence doesn't always come with visible proof. Carmen Petrie, Executive Director of the Sojourner Family Peace Center, the largest nonprofit provider of domestic violence services in Wisconsin, says that abusers may harm their victims physically, or they may harm them verbally, psychologically, or emotionally. Their tactics are varied, and sometimes this means that the victim herself doesn't even recognize certain behaviors initially as abuse. Some people just don't identify that what's going on in their relationship is domestic violence. And for lots of women, abuse doesn't happen every day. The breaks in between, the abuse instill hope that things will change. According to Tammy Sullivan, Director of Family Violence Research and Programs at Yale University, there's always psychological abuse if there's physical or sexual abuse. And while survivors will attest that the physical abuse is awful, they often state the psychological abuse is worse. It erodes their self-esteem, their self-worth, the ability to maintain employment, the ability to parent their children. There are no bruises or broken bones, so people can't see how awful things really are. Most times, abusers will use an array of the following tactics in conjunction, adding up to a pattern of violence and control. So, physical abuse may include slapping, punching, suffocating or strangling, restraining, pushing or shoving, physically abusing or threatening to abuse the children. Sexual abuse tactics can include forcing the survivor to go further or do things sexually that she isn't comfortable doing. Rape, yes, a partner, a husband can rape their partner. Objectifying or treating the survivor like a sexual object. And then there's emotional, psychological, and verbal abuse. Now, these always come before physical and sexual abuse. By the time you see the bruise on the face, you know that there's been a history of emotional, psychological, and verbal abuse, which involves humiliation, harassment or stalking, name-calling, constant criticism, insults, destroying or apprehending the survivor's possessions, forcing the survivor to participate in illegal activities, blaming the survivor for the abuse or mistakes, falsely accusing the survivor of things such as infidelity to justify their abuse, harming the survivor's pets, showing off weapons and or making threats with weapons. And then there's isolating the survivor from her family and friends and spying on or controlling the frequency of a survivor's phone calls or internet use, reading their telephones, not allowing the survivor to make any decisions, turning friends and family against the victim, that's another one, and gaslighting. There's many more, but those are the most common. Then there's financial abuse, which is another way an abuser can control a survivor, and this can include not allowing the survivor to hold a job or complete her education, not allowing the survivor to access income, open a bank account, or have a credit card, forcing the survivor to ask or beg for money, stealing money from the survivor. And then there's providing the survivor with an allowance and requiring that they give receipts for everything they buy. Remember, no matter what type of abuse is implemented, it's never the survivor's fault. Whether or not you're sure that what you're experiencing is abuse, you can always talk to somebody confidentially by reaching out to a domestic violence advocate. So I have some more book recommendations. This one's called No Visible Bruises, What We Don't Know About Domestic Violence Can Kill Us. It's written by Amanda Kippert. With 1 in 3 women experiencing domestic violence worldwide, the question is not if you will encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You are called. We are all called to be champions for justice, and those who suffer violence They need to know that those who love them and even those who don't even know them will step out and reach out to help them and give them the courage they need to leave before it's too late. Help us get these messages out so someone who's suffering can recognize their situation and know that they can get out, or someone who is not suffering can recognize it in other people and help them. So subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, hit the like button, the notification bell so you don't miss a single message, and share these messages with others. You never know, just by doing so you could save a life. If you are a victim of violence, listen to me. You are valued, you are loved, you are intelligent, and you are beautiful. God does not want you to suffer violence. He wants you to live free from violence in peace and tranquility. There is a way out, and it's not your fault. Abuse is not love. If you're a victim of violence, please reach out to somebody today. If you find yourself in a violent situation or a dangerous situation, call someone for help. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about this is why I didn't tell you he was beating me. Understanding the mindset of a domestic violence victim. Until then, God bless you.